Carolina defensive end Greg Hardy just had his case recently dismissed. Now, for those that didn't know, in the beginning of the season, he had a lot of issues, had a domestic violence case that was going through the process. The commissioner put him on an exempt list, and he was unable to play the 2014 season. Now, he still got his full contract, just over $12,770,000 per game. I repeat that, $770,000 per game. But moving forward, Ty, what should the commissioner do with Greg Hardy in cases like this into the future?
When we're talking about all these legal issues, it's tough to really make a decision, especially when things have been dropped. But it could be seen as a public admonishment of guilt here. You know, it was a settlement. They're saying it was a civil settlement, and that's probably the reason why the accusee, you know, the defendant, didn't show up to the civil trial there, to the jury trial. Now, the best thing for the NFL to do this season, we're still in the offseason here, take your time, wait it out. Because what have we seen in the past? When you act too fast, you screw things up. When you act too slow, you screw things up. We're talking about Ray Rice and the way they levied the punishment against him, and then Adrian Peterson is reacting too slow in terms of how they want to treat that case. So don't act too fast, don't act too slow, wait it out, kind of see what happens. The season, we're not even in really off-season mode yet. See what happens, and then you can still make that judgment. Well,
Judge, Jury, and Executioner Roger Goodell already came out with some type of plan saying that, you know, first offense is 6 games, and after that it's a year or a lifetime ban or something along those lines. But for this case, I think it's very unique because he was going through the process as Commissioner Goodell was trying to figure out what was going on, what was happening. And now as he's approaching his free agency period, how many teams are going to take a chance on him moving forward? If you saw the reports, I mean, the reports were very disturbing.
They were vivid.
They were very vivid, very disturbing. And do you want this guy in your locker room? Even though he might be a good teammate, he might have a lot of demons outside of the football field that can contaminate the chemistry of what's going on. And, you know, a lot of NFL players also say, you know, your best ability is availability. And if you're not there on the team, helping the team out, then just imagine if they would have had him on Carolina when they went up to play Seattle in the playoffs. Maybe that would have made a difference, or they probably would have gave Carolina a better record in the overall season. So it's an interesting case. It's very interesting.
I think it would be important to also mention kudos to Carolina and Ron Rivera for sitting him after that first game and still winning the division.
Exactly.
Wasn't that hard, but, you know, it's a principle.
Winning the division.
Yeah, you look at teams like the 49ers who waited till they were eliminated from contention to cut Ray McDonald and say it's because it's the right thing to do. It's important to also mention, you talked about the 6th game that Goodell has kind of thrown off for the domestic violence protocol there. It's a minimum of 6 games. So it's nice to have that and then work your way up. If I would have to pick, I think you have to at least start with half the season, at least. He's really got to send a signal to let players know, not only in the NFL, but in other professional, you know, leagues and in society as a whole, that domestic violence is not okay. And these players shouldn't be rewarded for getting themselves in these situations. I know some of them can be tailored and doctored up. She isn't X, but based on the information we have, it looks like these alleged tales have some truth to them.
But even then, Ty, think about it. Let's say you go through the process and you're found not guilty throughout the whole process of domestic violence or domestic dispute or sexual allegations or sexual assault, whatever the case may be, and you're proved not guilty. Now you're already missing some time already. You're already missing those 6 games, and you're already missing half the season for something that you was proved innocent for. Remember, it's innocent until proven guilty, not guilty until proven innocent. So I think the commissioner is going to have to figure out another way. Maybe keep it on the exempt list until you figure some things out. But to just flat out just suspend him for 8 games out the gate, it's kind of, it doesn't sit well with me. Let's just say that. It doesn't sit well with me from that standpoint.
Again, I'm not a law expert, but I believe there is he was found guilty out there in some realm of
But the case was dismissed, though. The case was dismissed. Even public perception said that he was guilty. So the public views and getting the reports and documents now, whether it was a civil suit that was settled or this and the other, it was dismissed. It was dismissed. So what are you supposed to do?
Long story short, you talk about what I want on my team. In terms of contracts, you can always give someone some money. You don't want to act too fast and do it too short, because then if you find out it's serious, you're looking at an appeal from the Players Association, and you can't go back on your word and misinterpret what you said.
Exactly.
It's tough, and when it comes to these professionals, it's hard to keep yourself out of these situations, but it's a scenario that we see happen too much.
True. That is very true. Very true.